Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another tea talk and book banter where basically I let you know everything that I read in the previous month, and then I also let you know what I'm going to be reading in the upcoming month. So sorry this is a little bit late, but it's been kind of crazy. It's our first week back in school. We are finally into the month of September and things have been like really busy around here. But I'll start off with sharing with you the tea that I'm drinking because that is how I start off my tea talk. I am currently subscribed to Sips By, which is a monthly box that you get in the mail that has various different types of teas, and I always leave all of the details along with a coupon in the description below if you want to check them out. And what I like about this company is it's not just teas from like one place, it's teas from all different various companies. You let them know what you like most and they put together something for you. Today I'm drinking a green tea with jasmine by a company called Rishi, and it's really good. It's really like relaxing. It has a little bit of a floral scent to it and it's very nice. So that is what I'm drinking today while I'm talking to you guys, and let me jump right into everything that I've read over the month of August, as well as everything that I am and hope to read in September. And then hopefully by the end of September, beginning of October, I'll share with you all of the books that I hope to read in October, because I definitely want to participate in Victober this year and it's going to be really exciting. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The first book that I read in August was Treasure Island. Don't you love this edition? I just love this hardcover book, and the palm trees and the moon, it's just really, really a nice cover. This is by Robert Louis Stevens. Treasure Island is about a young boy who kind of becomes well acquainted with this popular big-time pirate that like everybody knows, and he ends up going on an adventure with a group of people to Treasure Island to seek out a treasure. So this is really a high energy, fun and exciting kind of a book. It was the perfect book to read on our vacation in Puerto Rico, just being on a Caribbean beach and reading this Treasure Island book about pirates was really, really fun. It was definitely a great choice for that time of year. It absolutely kept my interest. I found it to be really captivating and fun and exciting, and I very much enjoyed it. So it was a nice, quick, easy read and definitely a great book to have for the summer. I absolutely enjoyed following Jim, who is the boy. He's not like a very young boy. He's old enough to go off with this group of men to this island to seek treasure, but he's young enough where you can definitely identify with his innocence and his fear, but as well as his adventurous side where he wants to explore and do new and exciting things. So it was really a fun read for the summer. And then I went from Treasure Island to Soldier Island. I read Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And if you guys Google the original edition of this book, you will be very shocked and surprised by the original title of the book. I don't want to talk about it on my channel. It's not very nice in today's day and age, but back then when it was published in 1939, I guess it was acceptable to have the title that it had at the time. But this book is about 10 people going to an island called Soldier's Island. It's kind of like a deserted tropical island, not easy to get to. You have to take a boat over to it. And these 10 people are chosen randomly. They receive a letter with various different reasons to come to the island. So it's specific to each person. It's kind of a made-up story as to getting them to the island. So one person is meeting up with friends and one person is going to be working there. So there's all these different reasons that these people are called to this island, and they meet at this mansion. And during dinner that night, they're kind of chatting and all realizing that there is no common ground to the reason that they're there, and it starts to get a little confusing. And then somebody announces on the gramophone for all to hear each individual person and a murder that they committed. So once the announcement is made, everyone is kind of shocked and scared and wondering who has this information, and they're kind of trying to explain themselves. that night they realize in their bedrooms there is the nursery rhyme, 10 Little Soldiers, and basically the story and the characters connect with this nursery rhyme throughout the story. It's a murder mystery, and then there was none basically means that individually something happens to each and every one of these individuals. I don't think that's a spoiler because that's basically the title of the book. So you're trying to figure out who is committing all of these murders, and I don't want to give away too much, but it definitely was a great mystery. I actually started writing down each of the characters and their history and what they were accused of and trying to figure out who was committing the murders, and I had a great time doing that. I kind of felt like a detective. Unfortunately, I don't have the book to hold up and show you right now because my son had to read this book over the summer as one of his assignments, so he had to take it back, but I really thought it was a great read. It was my first Agatha Christie book. I did attempt to read some of her other books in the past, but this is the first one I actually read from beginning to end, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a great read, and it really kept my attention from beginning to end. And then the next book that I read was The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashares, and I really was excited to read a very light kind of story without a lot of kind of intense topics or serious topics, and this was not what I thought it was going to be. It was a great read and I did enjoy it. So these four friends who have spent their entire childhood together are in their teen years now, and they usually spend their summers with each other, but this particular summer everyone is finding themselves in different places, so they just can't be together. And one of the girls finds these jeans in a consignment shop, thrift store type of a deal, and when she tries them on she sees that they look amazing on her, and all of her friends try them on and they look amazing on everyone, so they are the magic pants, and they come up with this great idea to bring the pants with them in their travels and to share with each other what happens to them in the pants. So they each take turns having the pants with them while they are away for the summer or doing whatever it is that they're doing, and then they write a letter just describing what's going on. And they start to feel a sense of strength wearing the pants. They feel like they're more courageous and kind of invincible and able to do things that maybe they otherwise wouldn't be able to do, because it's like the power of the pants. So it was very interesting and like a really fun thing. Like I even thought to myself, this would be so much fun to do in high school with your friends if you're going to be away from each other and you kind of want to share your stories and your experiences. I just thought it was a fun topic, but each person is kind of going through their own struggles and things going on. So it does deal with divorce, it deals with death, it deals with a lot of like international travel, traveling to new places, different types of relationships. So there were some really serious topics going on, and I actually cried, and I did not expect to cry reading this book. Like this was going to be my light, breezy, kind of like simple and easy summer read, and it did bring me to tears. There were some scenes in there that were incredibly sad. It really did pull at your heartstrings, but it is a great story and I really did enjoy it. I don't want to tell you each individual girl's story because that would kind of ruin the entire book for you if you haven't read it yet and you wanted to check it out, but it was a really quick read and I did enjoy it. And I thought that it kind of brought me back to that time of my life, to just that time when you're in your teen years and you're struggling with so many different things and feelings and hormones and dealing with family situations and boyfriends and all kinds of stuff. So it was really, really fun to read and I highly recommend it. One of the other books that I read was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I think that's how you say it. Her last name is spelled NG, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But I had to read that for our book club, and it was really a good story. There is this town called Shaker Heights where everybody just seems perfect. It's one of those like newly developed communities. Back in the 90s, all of these developments were being built with these perfect cookie cutter houses, and the McMansions is what we call it here in New Jersey. I don't know if that's like a universal thing. And Shaker Heights just has all of these perfect houses with these perfect families and all of these rules and restrictions in the way that you have to cut your lawn and deal with, I don't know, your garbage, you can't leave it out, like all these things, right? So it's this perfect little town, and a girl moves in with her mom, and her mom is kind of a free spirit. She's an artist. They have spent time living out of their car. They travel from place to place, and they come into this town and they rent a duplex from this one family in Shaker Heights. And they end up becoming friendly with the family. And the daughter is the same age as the children in the other house, so they're all like in their teen years. And it goes through their relationship with somebody who is an outsider and so different from themselves, and how they connect in different ways. One of the things that I liked about this book were there were a lot of 90s references, and that was kind of my time, my teen years. So since they are going through their teen years at that time in the 90s, everything was so relatable to me. For instance, they were watching Ricky Lake, they were listening to the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, which was one of my favorite groups, wearing CK1 cologne. They talk about the Bill and Monica Lewinsky thing going on. They also reference the Titanic, which if you guys have been following my channel, you know that's my favorite movie of all time. And they talk about like carrying around a boombox. So there's all of these things that reference the 90s, so that really kept my interest. Also, the storyline touches on so many controversial topics, from social status to adoption to abortion to race. I mean, everything that you could possibly think of is covered in this book. But what I like about it is it gives you the personal account of each of these topics individually, where maybe if you do favor one side over the other, you kind of get an inside view of how it is perceived by other people. So I really liked the book for that reason. Whatever your beliefs are, this book really shows you both sides of different situations that much of our society has to deal with. So I really, really did like that. The book begins with the Richardson family. They are the main family that is focused on throughout the book, and their house is on fire. So that is the very beginning of the book. And then it kind of goes back in time and builds you up to learn who actually sets the house on fire. And I think that the topic Little Fires Everywhere kind of is referencing how each individual person or family is dealing with their own struggles in life, and how we all kind of deal with little fires throughout our entire lives, different things that happen to us, different things that we're exposed to, different things that we experience. They're kind of all like the little fires that happen to each individual person in a community. That's the way that I take it anyway. I could be totally wrong. All of these teenagers really had very different personalities and totally different types of people, and I really enjoyed seeing how they all interacted with each other or didn't interact with each other. It was interesting to see this family growing up together and how their relationships were. Some were closer than others, some really weren't close at all. So it really was a great book, and my book club enjoyed it. Everyone really liked it. Last month we read Where'd You Go, Bernadette, and I actually got to see the movie in August, and I thought the movie was excellent. It was better than the book in my opinion, but our book club did not care for that book. So this was a good month. Everyone seemed to like Little Fires Everywhere, and I would recommend it. Okay, and finally, the last book, I have to like speed this up because I also want to tell you all the books I'm going to be reading. But the last book that I read was Rose Cottage by Mary Stewart. This was a very cozy mystery, and I thought it was a nice story. Like, it was just a nice, quaint read. It takes place post-World War II in Britain, and this woman, Kate, is a widow. Her husband gets killed during the war, and she's young, she's like in her 20s, and her grandmother calls her and asks her to come back to the childhood home where she grew up, and she wants her to go through some of the old things that they have. She wants her to find this safe in the house where her grandmother had previously tucked away kind of like personal items and things that she wanted back. And the grandmother had moved to another location, so she was really hoping that her granddaughter would come and help her out and retrieve whatever furniture and items that she wanted from this Rose Cottage where she had grown up. And there are a lot of mysteries in this small neighborhood. Her mother was not a part of her life for most of her life, and then it just so happened that something happened to her mom. She was killed in an accident, and that was always kind of a mystery to her. She really never knew too much about her mom, so I think when she comes back to her childhood home, she's having all of these memories of her mother and her life as a child growing up in this small town. And the small town sounds so beautiful, and it's just so quaint and nice and just like the type of place that you would totally want to be. The milkman comes in the morning with fresh milk and eggs, and there are, you know, animals grazing, and it's just so beautiful. It just sounds like a great place to be. But all of these memories are coming back to her, and she is trying to figure out a mystery in regards to this old house. I don't want to tell you exactly what the mystery is because that's basically what the entire book is about. I didn't find it to be very suspenseful. I did have kind of a hard time getting through it. It took me a while. It didn't captivate me completely, and I didn't like wonder what was going on with the character or the story when I put the book down. And for me, a good book is the type of book that you have a hard time closing, or when you do put it away, you're thinking about it and you're wondering what's going on and what's going to happen. The mystery itself wasn't interesting enough to me to really care, unfortunately, but it was a sweet, nice, cozy read. That's all I could say about this. I was super excited to finally read a Mary Stewart book. I have been very interested in reading some of her novels, and I have a couple others, so I'll give those a try as well, and they might be a little bit more captivating than this one was. But like I said, it's just a cozy read, and I totally would recommend reading it, but it wasn't my favorite for the month of August. Okay, so that's everything that I read in August. I still have a little bit of a voice left, so I'm going to quickly tell you about the books that I plan on reading for September. I've already started to read Miss Bunkle's book by D.E. Stevenson, and so far it's okay. I'm only a couple of chapters in, but basically Barbara Bunkle needs to make some money. She decides to write a book, and the book is about her town and all of the people in her town. And basically I think what is supposed to happen is things that she writes about start to come true. She writes about the people in her town and their characters as like real life people. She describes them as they are, and she talks about their life as it is. But as the book continues, the things that she's writing supposedly are supposed to start coming true. I think that is basically the gist of it from what I read on the back, and it seems like it's going to be an interesting read. And this is a book that Katie from Books and Things is going to be hosting a read-along for. It's Bellman and Black by Diane Setterfield, and it sounds very interesting to me. I'm kind of gearing up for the Halloween season, and this sounds like it has that kind of morbid, spooky vibe. So there is a man called William Bellman. He accidentally kills a rook resting on a branch at a young age during his childhood. It's an accident, and he feels really bad about killing this bird, but he forgets about it and grows, you know, into an adult man with a wife and a child, and he goes on with his life. And then there is a series of events that happens, and I think that this bird somehow comes back into his life or haunts him or something with the bird. I'm not really sure. It says, years later, when a stranger mysteriously enters William's life, his former fortunes begin to turn, and the terrible and unforeseen consequences of his past indiscretion take root. In a desperate bid to save the only precious thing he has left, he enters into a rather strange bargain and even stranger partner. Together they found a decidedly macabre business. From what Katie said, this does deal a lot with Victorian mourning and funerals and death, and I don't particularly like that kind of stuff, but being that we're coming into the October and Halloween season, I thought this would be an interesting read along to do, and I have been trying to do one book club book and one kind of social media inspired read along, so I thought this would be a great one to partake in. And then to kind of balance that out, I've decided to read The Secret Garden. One of my subscribers so kindly sent this book to me, and I've never read The Secret Garden. I've seen the movie, but I've never read the book. And if you're not familiar with it at all, there's an orphan named Mary. She comes to live at her uncle's house, which is like a huge mansion with all of these locked rooms. And she's very curious because she hears some types of noises, and she can't figure out where the sounds are coming from until she finds this secret garden that is locked. And she retrieves the key to the secret garden, and then she experiences all of these things that I don't know about because I don't remember the movie and I haven't read the book. So I was a child when I saw the movie, so I don't remember too much about it, and I'm excited to read this. And I'm so grateful that my lovely, kind, and generous subscriber mailed this to me, and it's now prompted me to read it this month. And then finally, my book club read this month with my local book club is Lilac Girls, and this is by Martha Hall Kelly. This follows 3 women through their experiences in World War II and concentration camps, and I have a hard time sometimes reading books about World War II because I just can't believe that human beings could have ever acted that way towards other human beings. It's just so vicious and horrible and disturbing. So I do have a hard time reading about those types of things. But on the other hand, I'm very curious to see how these 3 women became friends and how their lives all came together through the war and through the concentration camps. This is based on a real life story of a New York socialite who put together a group of concentration camp survivors known as the Rabbits. And being that it's based on a true story, and there's actually photographs in the back of the book of the women that this is based upon, so I think it's going to be a very interesting story to read, and I'm excited for it. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everyone in the book club likes it this time around. I think it's going to be something really fun to read in the month of September. So that is going to be it. That is everything that I've read and that I'm going to be reading, and then hopefully I'm going to be updating you guys with my Victober read sometime soon. That's also hosted by a few booktubers that I have been following. I'll go ahead and leave their links in the description below if you want to get a jump start on that. I don't have my act together for Victober yet. I'm still trying to figure out what books I want to read, but I'm excited to do that next time around, and I'm really excited for October and Vlogtober. I'm hoping to participate in that again as well. So I have to go because my voice is like pretty much gone by now, and I have one more video to still film. So I have to take a break and finish my tea. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps to keep me alive here on YouTube. The more action that I get on my videos, the more likely I am to be seen, and that's just a wonderful thing. So if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, and make sure that you comment below, let me know if you're going to be reading any of the books that I have chosen this month, or if you have read any of them. I would love to know your opinion on them. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.